Welcome into Saints Now. I'm your host, Trace Gerard, and on today's show, we are breaking down the latest New Orleans Saints rumors. And to kick things off, could Michael Thomas be staying in New Orleans? Would bringing in a Derek Carr help the Saints keep Michael Thomas and help keep him happy and help keep him on the roster? I don't know. People are talking. John Sigler, he wrote up an article about this, and I found it very interesting, and this is what he said. That's the main selling point New Orleans can offer Thomas, is the continuity, the fact that he doesn't have to leave, the fact that he gets to stay in the same system he's been in, stay in the city, stay with his teammates that he loves, all of that. He wouldn't have to relocate, pick up the new offense in another NFL city, like I just said. He likes his coaches and the new Saints training staff the team brought in last summer. There aren't many players who have spent their entire career with just one team, and that might matter to him too. It's kind of interesting stuff, but at the end of the day, the money is really what talks. The financials check out as this. The Saints and Michael Thomas agreed to a restructured contract a few weeks ago. As we all know, its 2023 cap hit has dropped from $15.5 million to $1.165 million, which is actually the minimum, I believe, minimum cap hit to get cut, if I have that correct. If I don't, I apologize. But $53.9 million cap hit in 2024 if he plays. The Thomas can't play on his current contract as it's written. If nothing changes and he suits up for the Saints in the fall, he'll trigger a $60 million cap hit, 59.3, in 2024 by dressing out for at least 4 games. So the money, it's a lot. If you want to keep Michael Thomas, it's gonna be expensive, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. And he's kind of stirring up the pot. This is crazy. This is interesting. I'm a big Nick Underhill fan. I really like what he does, and I really like the work that he does, and I really appreciate the coverage he provides. But this is an interesting thing here. He tweeted out, this was last night, and Michael Thomas deleted his reply. This is what it says. The mistake everyone makes when they look at the Saints cap is that they look at individual pieces when the Saints look at it as a whole that can be solved and manipulated. Nothing is about one move to them. Michael Thomas replying to Nick Underhill saying, don't backpedal, Nick. I got the receipts. Stay tuned. This is kind of crazy. It's kind of interesting to look at. Does this mean that Michael Thomas could come back? Is this just him stirring the pot? Crazy things have happened, and crazier things continue to happen around the Saints. And what I will say is, if you are going to sit here and say they can't afford him, it's not going to happen, it's whatever, it's this, that, or the other, the salary cap is a myth. Money doesn't exist in the NFL, and the Saints have proven time and time and time and time and time again that they can manipulate the cap space. Do you remember when they were $100 million over the cap and managed to get under it? Michael Thomas could get paid. A contract could always be restructured if you want to get into it. My point is, this is interesting, and this is notable. It's kind of crazy, but I want to ask you guys this. Is Michael Thomas staying in New Orleans? Do you think that he's going to stay a New Orleans Saint? I personally would love it if he stayed. I think that I love what he's done. Obviously, he's hurt. He has those injury issues. He's banged up, but let's not pretend like he isn't dominant when he plays. I remember the Falcons week 1 game, do you? Whenever he put the whole damn city on his back in Atlanta and said, hey, I'm walking out here with the win and ain't nothing you can do about it. Michael Thomas is that dude. Personally, I think you go and try and make it work if you can. Otherwise, it's sayonara. But let me know. It's not about me. It's about the Who Dat Nation. Would you, or is Michael Thomas staying in New Orleans? Type YFS, type in for no. All right, next things next. Should the Saints sign or trade for Keenan Allen? Could happen. It could happen. Keenan Allen right now is under contract, but the Chargers are currently $23.4 million over the cap. And moving on from Keenan Allen would save the Chargers about $15 million. And if you take a look at what Keenan Allen has done over the past 4 seasons, in 2019, 104 receptions, 1,100 yards, 1,100 yards, 11.5 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns. 2020 took a little bit of a step back, 100 receptions, 992 yards, just under 10 yards per catch, 8 touchdowns. In 2021, he had a crazy year. I had him on my fantasy league and caught a dub, won our league belt. What's up, guys? 2021 stats, though, 106 receptions, 1,100 yards, 10.7 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns. And in 2022, this past season, played in 10 games, 66 receptions, 752 yards, 11.4 yards per catch, and 4 touchdowns. And Mike Williams has emerged as a wide receiver 1 for Justin Herbert and for the for the Chargers offense, Keenan Allen is getting a little bit older. He's getting hurt, and the contract is causing major headaches for the Chargers organization. And I honestly think that Keenan Allen could really boost this wide receiver group. I mean, you have talented people like Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. You have Michael Thomas under contract currently. But Jarvis Landry is a guy as well that I really like as a slot, or somebody that I personally would want to go back and bring him back on a cheap deal to have him finish out his career. I think he could boost the wide receiver depth chart when you take a look at it. You plug in Keenan Allen as your wide receiver 3, or even over instead of Marquez Callaway. That's a massive step up. That's a massive improvement. And I don't think that it would be too outlandish to go out here and say, let's go try and sign Keenan Allen. Could be expensive, could be a lot of money, but if he were to get cut, it could happen, and I think that he would fit in this group pretty well. And then if you take a look at over the last 10 seasons, here's how he's played. Here's the games he's played. He's played 10 out of 17 in 2022, 16 out of 17 in 2021, 14 out of 16 in 2020. He played 3 full seasons from 2019, 2018, and 2017. He got 3 full seasons. 2016, an early injury took him out of the entire season. 2015, played only half the games. 2014, 14 games. In 2013, 15 games. The point is here that injuries have always been the biggest issue for Keenan Allen. They've always been something that have limited him and have been an issue and been a problem. The knee injury that kept him out for 7 games really was an issue. In 2016, that ACL tear, it really hurt him. He obviously came back and played 3 full seasons, but that being said, he wasn't able to play the full season. He's been injury prone the past 3 years, and I think for a team like the Saints, who have been pretty much poisoned by the injury bug at this point, it could be risky, but I also think with the risk, there's with any gamble, it's high risk, high reward. So you gotta really realistically look at it and say, is this the right path for my team? But I want you guys to let me know. I want you to put on your GM hat. Should the Saints go sign Keenan Allen if he's cut? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know in the comments section if you think the Saints should go sign Keenan Allen. And also, it is Super Bowl week. And there is no better place to lay down some lettuce, lay down some cheddar, and lay down some green than at BetUS. You can get started at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125, and that means you get an 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, they give you $125 back. You have $225 to game with. The current Super Bowl odds, the Eagles, who the Saints beat, are in the Super Bowl representing the NFC, are a 1-point favorite. Saints beat them. Let's not forget that. Kansas City Chiefs, total over-under, 51. It's the over-under set at 51. It's pretty high. I am going to take, I don't know, putting me on the spot. I'm going to bet the over. I just want a really good game. I'm going to be working it, so it's going to be fun either way. So if you guys want to get started, go lay down some money. Join me at chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code CHAT125. All right. And we are filming this on our first ever weekly offseason live show, or bi-weekly live show. We're trying to figure out the exact numbers on how often we're going to go live. But somebody was asking, Tee Higgins trade, could that happen? We're going to break it down for you. Could the Tee Higgins trade go down, and could it go to New Orleans with the Bengals having to pay top athletes like Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase? Could Tee Higgins be on the trade block? And Tee Higgins, if you put him on just about any team right now, if you put him in any wide receiver room, he would be a wide receiver 1 on pretty much any roster. If you take a look at what he did this past season, 74 receptions, 1,029 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 14 yards per catch, and he was extremely important whenever Ja'Marr Chase was missing time due to an injury. So I think that you could plug him in here if you end up cutting Michael Thomas and you save a bunch of money. Tee Higgins? It could really be interesting. But my take on all of this, the Saints have a wide receiver 1 in development in Chris Olave. You have somebody right now who this offseason has already said, I'm working to put on some extra weight because I want to make those contested catches. He's trying to get bigger. He's trying to get stronger. He's trying to get faster to help out the Saints offense. I seriously doubt that this trade happens. I really doubt that, not a trade in general, but a trade to the Saints. Because, one, as we all know, we were talking about cap space, the money, blah, 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 all that. But what do the Saints have to offer for Tee Higgins? You're not going to give him up for less than a first-round pick. If you wanted to maybe move on from like Ryan Ramczyk, Eric McCoy, maybe that's something you look into. But the Bengals, it's just probably not happening. You know, it stinks. You love to have him, but it just doesn't seem like it's happening. A Tee Higgins trade would be really, really expensive. And honestly, the Saints have needs that are way bigger that should be addressed, like quarterback, like running back, like defensive line help, safety help. I think that these are all more wide receiver depth, absolutely, but I think that you could go address that in the draft, maybe go get somebody a little bit cheaper in free agency. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section. Pick a wide receiver. Type KA for Keenan Allen. Type TH for Tee Higgins. And also, if you like Michael Thomas more than either of those, just type MT and let me know in the comment section. But also, be sure, Who Dat Nation, to subscribe, join the squad, join the channel. We're trying to go live every week, every other week, break down Saints news, rumors, all sorts of fun information, interactive content. Join the squad. Let us know in the comment section. Drop a like on today's video. And Who Dat Nation, y'all stay golden. I'll catch you next time.